Thank you, French Shalom, and greetings to you all. Happy birthday, Canada. Happy Independence Day, America. And congratulations to Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce, and what has to be the next most talked about wedding outside of royal weddings, maybe even more so. That's a perfect time with the year half over, as I said, to take stock of where you stand now. And it's not just about whether you are accomplishing your goals for the year and need to make a course correction, but measure the sense of obligation you carry to fix everything yourself, or how hard you feel you have to push and struggle to make things happen. Do not act from obligation, always act from love. Do not push and struggle, just get the ball rolling. Let its momentum carry on. The energy to fight and control is damaging you. Now, the other day I was fortunate enough to be walking with my Baal HaKalomet, Dream Master. The term from Genesis 37:18 describing Joseph. What a term, Dream Master. Not interpreter, but master. We were discussing the power and messages of dreams and how so few people take note of them, take stock of them, and pursue them. Do not lose sight of yours. Pursue them. And of course, I still dream of a happier world, united, not divided. And unfortunately, I've been observing over time that the patience and tolerance of humanity seems to be getting shorter and shorter all the time. Once we simply fought and killed perceived enemies. They didn't have to be real, because whatever you think is your reality. We learned to get along better. We formed great bodies to try and get the world to get along. League of Nations, United Nations, two incredible failures. The United Nations has become the largest hotbed of anti-Semitic behavior ever seen, and it does nothing but promote hatred wherever it sticks its ugly head. Tell people the same thing enough time, and of course they believe it, because people have stopped thinking and stopped researching for themselves. Tell the world how bad the Jews are. It becomes a mantra to be repeated mindlessly. Just look at any major North American or European city now. Sadly, you can never go wrong watching the mindless idiocy of most people. People you thought were smart enough to see the truth. But the insidious ability of mind control has truly taken over. If you want to get elected in the majority of liberal-minded places now, you have to be opposed to Jews, but under the guise of being opposed to Israeli policy. Funny, but there seems to be no outrage over Russian, North Korean, or Chinese policy, or their use of gulags, re-education camps, or simple population control, not to mention the harsh cruelty and complete intolerance in any Muslim-dominated country. It's much better to simply oppose the only true democracy in the Middle East that takes up so little space. We are in dangerous times. So much so that I never thought I'd see such a thing. And I also never thought I would see the number of Jewish protection services and gun clubs and organizations that you can now find. When society does not protect a group, they begin to protect themselves. But that does more to splinter and not unify people. Let's stop the insanity and come together in a renewed move towards love, not hate, like we all do. When we come together and gather as a like-minded group, a collective consciousness of seekers showing faith, any and all faith, love, any and all love, because we are a true chavura, a fellowship. So we express our nature of kindness, compassion, thoughts, feelings, hopes, dreams, and wishes that unites us all in this community house of spirit, Beth Ruach, sharing and bringing light, keeping fear at bay. And even though together we are individual in our approach, each connecting in his or her or their own way. So once again, please do go ahead and invite everybody you know. Some physically, the rest digitally, psychically, emotionally, or spiritually, to gather and share as we sing from Psalm 133, the Hine Matov. Come together. Hine Matov, Shevet Achim Gam Yachad, Hine Matov. How good and how pleasant it is for brothers and sisters together. Community. 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 Together. Now we support each other in this community. let's all spread love, goodwill, fellowship to the world. Remember, friends, this is you setting aside a little bit of sacred time in your sacred space to honor and converse with whatever you happen to believe in. We all believe in something. It's a part of your kavanah, your intention that you put out to the universe. It's your goodwill. Goodwill and intention are the roots of what you can control, of what you can correct. Your intention sets in motion everything that occurs in your lives, my friends. Let's take some time now. Let's use that intention. Let's send some of the goodwill, some light, some healing out to whoever you know that needs it. Healing and renewal is for everyone. It flows through space, finding those in need, so send it out. For those you know, for the souls and spirits of everyone you love. So think of whoever that needs healing and renewal, or just plain goodwill. Think of them. Focus on them. Call their names. It's not just for people, it's for our pets, it's for the earth, it is the healing of the world, the tikkun olam that is part of our spiritual genetic makeup. And a part of the healing of the world is when we send thoughts and energy for health and renewal and goodwill for everybody. Though it is the prayer for the sick, they don't have to be sick because it is for those in our hearts and our minds. So let's all send energy out for people in need everywhere. And we always give special thoughts and prayers for those who truly do need assistance. We pray for those who need prayer. We don't have to know them because we want health, recovery, good life for everybody around us, for those close to us. For the super volunteer, busily drumming and helping those around them. For Carson, coming out of his tumultuous journey. And for the wonderful Circe, focused on her own healing for a change, slowly recovering from a reality check. For L1 and L2, who will always be in my heart, my hopes and dreams. For all my hardworking students. For my pal, who's always there when needed. For Alan. For Corey and Sherry. For Gabriel. For Shelley and Lorella. For Giggles, who's going through her own epiphany. And Lily. For the MW, the author. For Alana. For Snoopy. For Roberta. And dear Ainura and Winston. For John and Fern. And John and Maria. Dory and Gloria. For Connie and Ronnie. A lot of rhyming names there. And for Mayim. For the twins. For Tally. For Nina. For Linda. Who I think about often. Who only wish joy and delight in everyone's lives. And the ever-smiling Danny. For all those suffering and in need, let's not forget to include all the familiars of our lives. All of our sacred animal friends everywhere. For everyone, you know, in need. For the whole world. And for my busy bee who quietly struggles with finding her own way. Friends, it is the kindness, the healing, wishes, goodwill, and love that we all send out. It just circles the world, finding those in need. So thank you, each of you, for all you do, for all you care. Because the world is a world of spirit, and spirit, my friends, never dies. Me, Shaberach. Avoteinu, Makor, Tavracha, Limotenu, the source of strength. Bless the ones before us. Help us find the courage. Make our lives a blessing. Renewal of body. Renewal of spirit. Let us say, Amen. Misha Barak, let us all have our spirits renewed. It's a great prayer for healing, because we call upon God to heal as He has healed before. Misha Barak, may He who blessed. Because all healing's a blessing. Let's all send and receive healing and renewal energy in our efforts to love, to share, to care, to grow. That wasn't last week's story something? How'd you feel about humor and satire in the Bible, of all places? Many have a very difficult time with it. But as I pointed out, humor is essential to life. Now, there's only a couple of weeks, there's this week and next, left in the book of Numbers, or the story of the wilderness. Because that's what it is. The numbers were never important. The location. And that's a mental location as well as a physical location. And where we primarily still are is what this book talks about. It sounds desolate, doesn't it? The wilderness, where you are alone, even in a group. Now, we're about to read the second last reading of the book, and it wraps up, as you think, with a very interesting story. This one of zealousness, a fantastic fight for women's rights, settled by God, by the way, and a breakdown of each holiday and what their offerings or sacrifices are. We get their observance and rituals, but note, there is no history added, no purpose, no reminder of why each holy day is even observed. The ethics and morals take a back seat to ritual. And perhaps that's why to this day so many more are concerned with the mechanics of observation over the meaning and reason. I go the other way. I want you to understand why and develop an appreciation, and maybe that will entice you to put a little more spirituality into your life instead of getting you to focus on observing rules and hoping that if you do it enough, because that's how this religion is based, do it enough and it becomes a part of who you are. But you'll never know why. You may know how, but you'll never know why. Better you always understand the why, not the how. Now this week we have a fascinating reading as we read Pinchas, this tale of zealousness. And it contains two incredibly powerful little stories and a reminder of the offerings of all the holidays, a veritable survival list of how to observe. Because we have the daily offering, the Sabbath offering, the monthly offerings, the Passover offerings, the Festival of Weeks, otherwise known as Shavuot offerings, the Festival of Trumpets offerings, that's a name you don't hear often, which in case you didn't realize is Rosh Hashanah offerings. Known biblically as Yom Teruah, it was never Rosh Hashanah, or Day of Trumpet Blasts and Healing. And that begins the 10 days of awe, or 10 days of repentance. Then you have the Day of Atonement offerings and the offerings of the Festival of Booths, or Sukkot. There, in a quick review, you have the offerings for the entire holy year. I'm not going to talk about them. I want you to spend your time in this reading to focus on some pretty amazing things here. The zeal of Pinchas and the brilliant ruling in the case of the daughters of Zelophehad, and the need for intelligent succession planning. A term used, but something sorely missed in today's society, a little throw out towards the end. I fear we are watching Mordor come to life. Now, I hope you all enjoyed last week's preordained story. We all know asses who have a lot to say. Many of them are political representatives, of course, but most are not as worth listening to as Balaam's ass. And here we are at the end of the book of Numbers, which at one point would have been the conclusion of the Torah, because it ends with the people poised to enter the promised land. Now is when we really need to hear from people who actually have something intelligent to say. But there's something magical about that, because it provides this incredible metaphor for life. When we often see what we have reached for, still just out of reach, there it is. Just over the horizon. There, I can almost touch it. There's still more for us to do in order to get there. And friends, there is still more for each of us to do, even if it's just to help others on the road. And like with Balaam, it is the angels in our lives, those whose job it is to help those who are on the road. Many times, I've been alone. Many times I've cried. Anyway, you'll never know the many ways I've tried. And still, they lead me back to the long, winding road. It is a long road we are on. Help your fellow traveler. We are each on our own individual journey to our own promised land. And although we're all different, there's still the one thing that makes us the same, our need and desire to come home. And it's a religion based upon the return. But the Torah doesn't end with this book, because we have that mysterious fifth book, the book of Deuteronomy, the retelling. A book which was lost for several hundred years and was, as its name suggested, simply a retelling of the law, although slightly different in every instance. When we read it, you're going to see. It could have been one of the books to be written by the king, or perhaps the only true book of Moses. We don't know. We never will. But we'll talk more about it in the next couple of weeks. I said this was the story of zealousness, but perhaps it is about over the zealousness in a killing, because someone thought it would be what God wants. And hasn't that been the history of man? We get the message that rewards come with that action. Kill for God, you get rewarded. Now, last week's reading did not have a clean ending. That's always due to the strange editing and story structure. Do not forget the breaks in the Torah came hundreds of years after its writing. We've broken it down into 54 pieces, read over the course of a year. But during the biblical period we talk about, it was read once in total every 7 years, which is why I don't think it was 5 books. Last week ends by going right into the beginning of this week's reading, and then it stops. An Israelite man and Egyptian woman went into the tent of meeting and were engaged in forbidden sexual acts, which did not please God. So he sent a plague to kill the people, and Pinchas, the son of Eleazar, and therefore grandson of Aaron, took it upon himself to kill the couple. Now, the description is quite good, and the choice of words was inspiring. To think that this was a humorless book is a grave error. There's incredible plays on Hebrew, biblical Hebrew words in that whole section that you don't quite get when you read it in translation. And it all is connected with this concept of the tent. Numbers 25:7. And Pinchas, son of Eleazar, son of Aaron the priest, saw, and he got up from among the congregation, took a spear in his hand, and he came after the Israelite man to the enclosure and ran the two of them through, the Israelite man and the woman, to her stomach. And the plague was halted from the children of Israel. And the same word for stomach and same word for tent, a play on them, is used. Now, this is the famous red tent, which has been talked about before and which we will speak about again, which has been the subject of films, TV shows, books. It is connected with women, with sacred objects, and with sacred prostitutes. It is the kubah in Hebrew. It was a tent used to house sacred objects, and like the biblical tabernacle, it was made of red leather, same material. Since this episode begins precisely at the entrance to the tabernacle, or tent of meeting, it certainly appears that the kubah here refers to the inside of the tabernacle. Now, was it one tent or many? Doesn't matter. It's a story of zeal, of execution in the name of God, of cementing privilege. And you'll see that it is also the first legal fight for women's equal rights. You're going to read this and say, so what happened? Well, things change. Sometimes it takes a long time to recognize the change perhaps was right. Now, Pinchas is treated as a hero for killing these two people. His incredible action in killing stopped the latest plague, and even though we were already told at least twice that the priesthood was always to be via the line of Aaron and his sons, the same reward is given now for this great act of killing the pair. Numbers 25:13. And it shall be his, and his seeds after him, a covenant of eternal priesthood, because he was jealous for his God and he made atonement for the children of Israel. Well, what would have happened if it wasn't the grandson of Aaron? What if somebody else had done this? Would there have been a battle between Aaron's family and this new one? No. This just is further cementing of privilege already given. Now, it's an interesting crime, and therefore it's an interesting act by Pinchas. Notice there's no trial, no witnesses. It's a ritual crime, and that's a different kind of crime. And it's not that they had sex, it's they had forbidden sex. And that's different because forbidden sex was defined in a different fashion. The crime is not that they have sexual relations, which is what some people think. It's that they violated the tabernacle. As non-Levites, they're not even permitted to enter it, let alone to have sexual relations, whether it's for procreation, pleasure, or as a fertility rite. Therefore, there was no need for trial, no need for witnesses. Ritual law. It's a different law. We then come again to why the book of Numbers is the book of Numbers. It opened with the census, hence its name, and it closes with one too. Another pair of bookends in this book. And we knew the first census meant nothing because all those people are dead. Numbers 26:51. These are the counts of the children of Israel, 601,730. Now, interesting, this is almost the exact same numbers in the first census 40 years ago. And some of those mentioned play a prominent role. But there's a purpose here. There's a really strong, important purpose. Numbers 26:52. And the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, the land shall be distributed to these as a legacy with the number of names. I get it. This list was so we would understand the distribution of land system. It was to these people standing here now that the land across the river was to be distributed. And to these descendants would the return of the law of Jubilee belong, and with it the returning of the land to these families. This census, I keep saying sentence, this census means everything for the rest of time. But there's a wrinkle, and it surrounds women and their rights. Has anybody fought harder for recognition? I don't think so. Numbers 27:1. And the daughters of Zelophehad, son of Hefer, son of Gilead, son of Machir, son of Manasseh, of the families of Manasseh, son of Joseph, came forward. Now you got to admit, that's a pretty good pedigree. They stood in front of Moses, and in front of Eleazar the priest, and in front of the chieftains, and all the congregation at the entrance of the tent of meeting, saying, our father died in the wilderness. He wasn't among the congregation who were gathered against the Lord, in Korah's congregation. Rather, he died through his own sin. He had no sons. Why should our father's name be subtracted from among his family because he didn't have a son? Give us a possession among our father's brothers. Wow. Women want their father's land. They want to inherit like they have rights, like they're regular, equal people. Woman is the slave of the slaves. Yes, she is. Think about it. Woman is the slave of slaves. Think about it. Do something about it. We make her paint her face and dance. If she won't be a slave, we say she doesn't love us. If she's real, we say she's trying to be a man. Or putting her down, we pretend that she's above us. Now that song's probably not playable anymore. If it was by a Beatle. Not that it was ever played much when he wrote it. Zelophehad's daughters now protest that the property that would have gone to their father will go to his brothers instead, and the family holding in his name will be lost. Well, how does that serve the point of the census that was just taken? Moses goes and makes their case to God, who then says to Moses, Zelophehad's daughters speak right. You shall give them a possession for a legacy among their father's brothers, and you shall pass their father's legacy to them. You shall speak to the children of Israel, saying, a man who will die and not have a son, you shall pass his legacy to his daughter. The first victory in the battle for women's rights had been waged on the shores of the Jordan River 3,500 years ago. What happened? Remember, friends, social transformations take time. Generations, centuries, and as we see, even millennia. The Torah does not command a revolution in the status of women, just like it didn't in the status of slaves. Instead, it provides for steps, such as this one, which in the short run established that women do have rights, and which ultimately participated in the development of women's rights more generally. We can choose to praise the Bible for how far it went, or we can be critical that it did not go farther. It's up to you. Now, we've now read about the zeal of Pinchas and the fight for women to have rights. Since we're at the end, we see the true changing of the guard now take place as Moses lays his hand on Joshua and passes the mantle of leadership on. Religious control, we knew, was determined by birth. Political leadership is by choice. And yet it is a process. The smicha that is used in the ordination of rabbis still to this day, a word meaning leading of the hands. What Moses did to Joshua, as was done to me and is done to every rabbi, to transfer the role of leadership. Yes, my friends, the world is sacred. So is everything in it. Express your gratitude, light a candle, make a wish. Celebrate your life and the lives of those you love. Share your feelings with them. Live free, be free, honor your freedom, be well, be happy, be blessed. I love a lot of people, and a lot of people should, express their love for all the people that they love. Share and honor the light and all who live in the light. Continue to shine. Continue to send everybody you know goodwill and love. Pray for peace, for freedom for everyone, an end to terror and hatred. Remember, friends, we're a community. We learn together. We celebrate with each other. We love each other. We share this ride together, men and women equally. Let's all send out love, not fear. Send out peace, harmony, goodwill, and healing to all who need it. And please do learn to forgive and learn to love, including yourself. Open your hearts, honor the relationships of your life, and tell those you love that you love them. Examine your intentions. Use them to imprint your will on the universe. Remember, we set in motion all that happens in our lives, our intention, our kavana, our cause, our effect. Everything's linked. You always have time to forgive and be forgiven. You have the knowledge of what's good and bad. You don't have to hold on to things. Even if people are mean to you, you can still love them and forgive them because you know what's important. So acknowledge what you've done wrong to yourself, to God, or to any person you've wronged, but ask forgiveness. But always do so, my friends, with sincerity, with accountability, and with vulnerability. Forgive those who've hurt you as you learn to be forgiving and compassionate, because the secret of forgiveness, compassion, and peace is in acceptance. Can you accept yourself, other people in the world, just as they are? Can you accept life as it is without trying to control it? Because if you do, you can experience the peace that acceptance brings. So keep on dreaming, my friends. Keep on being, keep sharing, keep shining, keep teaching. Keep spreading joy and goodwill. Do not follow fear, follow love. It's always in front of you. Work to be present in the body. Expand your heart, quiet your mind, because the deepest source of real power lies in consciousness, in your ability to be mindful. There's that word that's so popular, to be aware, to be present in all life circumstances. That's all it means. Love with the heart, because we're all part of a greater whole. Embrace love, not fear. Forgiveness, not anger. Be there for someone, because someone's always there for you, whether you know it or not. Continue to explore faith and belief, and do not accept shame as a natural state. Whatever you feel others have felt, whatever you've experienced, others have too. We share together. We learn together and we help each other because we are, each of us, trying to find love and acceptance and support. We all have or could have that special someone in our lives, so go find them and tell them what they mean. You are never alone on your journey. Keep forgiving those you need to forgive, and keep asking forgiveness from those you need to ask forgiveness of. Listen to the voice of God as he talks to you. Remember, your connection to God and all that he's created in body and mind and in soul. It's a part of you, it's a part of me, it's a part of all of us. Forever, because we are all together forever. So enjoy this journey. We are the ones who will forge a nation. We are the ones who will return to a code of ethical laws, understanding the interconnectedness of everything. And we will continue to encounter many talking asses in our lives, but never forget the reality that we are forever blessed, and remember that in humility is strength. We've reached a time when after 3,500 years we should not wonder about the status of women, and remember that one of the things preordained and coming up is the Festival of Love. Happiest day of the year. Kind of the first Sadie Hawkins Day, a day dedicated to women in which women rule. I am woman. Hear me roar. In numbers too big to ignore. And I know too much to go back and pretend. 'Cause I've heard it all before. Been there on the floor. No one's ever gonna keep me there again. Yes, I am wise, but it's wisdom born of pain. Yes, I paid the price, and look how much I've gained. If I have to, I can do anything. I am strong. I'm invincible. Yes, you are, my dear. I guess you shouldn't say my dear. Thank you for joining me. Keep sharing the light. Practice forgiveness. Be thankful. Be gracious. Be kind. Be loving. Believe in yourself. Spread a little goodwill to the world and continue to be the miracle in someone else's life and be an example of all you can be always. Shabbat shalom and blessings to you all, my friends. Take care. I'll see you next week.